I called this exact very thing happening probably tonight. Super late night Tuesday Higurashi stream. So it probably won't be able to be super long either. Let me adjust my mic here. I should have done that. Actually, no, this is pretty good spacing. Never mind, I lied to myself. So yeah, welcome to Higurashi. What is this? Part 90? 89? Something like that? 89? I'm not too lazy to check. I've got this. I got the YouTube up on. This is part 90 of Higurashi. I would call this the home stretch, the actual home stretch of Higurashi streams. We have whatever is left. Then I must at some point do a character tier list to end it all. But I've got this thing that I downloaded. It must have been like 11 months ago. That's just been sitting on a folder, separate from everything else, separate from all the other Higurashi files. Is this Higurashi Chapter 4, but modified with just a bunch of console arc stuff. And whatever its contents are, I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna find out together. Maybe I honestly, of all the different sections so far, this is the one where I'm like, I don't actually know. I've done very little research as to what's actually happening when we click upon this, or what's in here, or how much there is. Like, I should have done more research, but then today kind of snuck up on me as far as streams wise. And I was like, oh, I should probably check like how much is actually in here. But then I was like, you know what? We're already starting late. I don't have time to check. Let's just, let the non-existent Jesus take the wheel. You know what I mean? So, this is something. Let's start it. But yeah, we're starting kind of late, so I can't go super long. So it's going to be probably like an hour of Higurashi reading. We'll pick it up back on Saturday, though, and I'll make sure I make up for... No, oh god, it started right away. Mind your ears. I think we've seen this before, right? Doesn't hurt to watch it again. Well, I find out who these characters are finally. So dramatic. So dramatic. Jesus. Alright, so yeah, if you have absolutely no idea what this is, so we, or I, along the whole buying of all the Higurashi things off Steam and everything, and then modifying them for the console experience that we've had throughout this whole series, along that, there was also the section where it's like, save a separate copy of the fourth game, override it with this mod, then you'll have all these different console arc stuff. And I did it all at the time, assuming we don't have a repeat of the last thing where the mod just wasn't there. But fucking I just tucked this away, out of sight, out of mind type of thing. So I, like I said, don't know what's happening here. When do we click this? Oh my god, why is there so much? Holy shit, this is more than I thought there would be. Never mind a fucking home stretch. This is like the back half. This is the back half of the marathon, apparently. Oh my god! What the fuck? Where do I even begin? Oh no. Wait. I may have something tucked away in this folder as well that I downloaded at the time to give me information as to where I'm supposed to go first. Wait. No panic? No one's panicking? Oh, is it? Kinda, maybe. Let me see. Okay, it's kind of ordered, but not really. Apparently it's this. Is what we're doing first. So I downloaded a thing, an image thing, that then gives you, like, where some arcs, I think, go. And then also I numbered them at some point, but I must have looked online about, like, best order. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the police files are, like, it's, like, addition, so then 10, 11, 12, 13, I think. Like, some of these say... I don't know. I'm just gonna trust myself from almost a year ago that I was correct in this. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? How you doing? How's your Tuesday been? No, I think we're done with the random swimsuit fan service. Wait, I said that right as I saw this thumbnail? Never mind, I lied. What the hell is this? I thought we were done with it. When do we do that one? That's not anywhere tonight. That's not the first one thing we're doing, right? It's not Tuesday? Oh yeah, it's not Tuesday for you. My bad. What number is this? This is gonna be... Oh, this is way later. This is one of the last things we do, thank God. How about yours? It was alright. It was busy. Busy Tuesday, but it's fine. Long day. Now here I am, late at night, trying to figure out... Okay, why is there still so much left of this? This is incredible. This is like... This is not as much as I was... This is more than I was expecting, I mean. So yeah, I think we start with this. Let's see, it's called Taraimawashi, which, if I'm to believe this image I've downloaded, is to be read after chapter 3. I don't know if that means that it's like in line with that, or if like things are going to be revealed that you'd want to read 3 before, or if it's during that. I don't know. But yeah. We're only going to be able to read for like an hour tonight. I'm starting so late. Bad me. Slap on the wrist. But we'll pick it back up on Saturday. I'll make sure to make up or whatever. So what? I'm just expected to click one of these and then start reading again? I'm just supposed to this is the rest of my life? Is Higurashi console arc stuff? Incredible. There's just so much. There's just so much. Passing blame. What chapter am I in Valkyria Chronicles? I think there was... I can't remember if there was another subsection that I'm either, like, towards the end of 4 or about to start 5. Something like that. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so Passing Blame. This chapter is an alternate take on Onikakushi. It can be read after completion of chapter 3. Okay, so that's why this image has it stuck after 3. Well, isn't that just so interesting? So it's an alternate take on Oni Kakushi, which is the first chapter. So it's an alternate take of the first chapter, but it says it should be read after finishing chapter 3. Keiichi does his best to avoid the major conflicts in Hinamizawa. Interesting. Thanks. I'll try. Alright, let's just go then. All people seek to escape from hardship. All people seek dreams beyond their reality. What on earth drives them to continue turning their eyes from the obstacles they must surmount? And what must they lose in the process? Taraimawashi. It's not a sin to run away. But reality is not as sweet as your dreams. What is it you wish to see? I shall show it to you. You too. I shall show it you too. That doesn't make sense. What is it you wish to hear? I shall tell you about it. But please do not expect anything, as I'm sure someone like yourself who closes their eyes and ears will find no meaning in it. Oh boy, can't wait. Here we go. So it's a retelling, an alternate take on the first chapter. That sounds like maybe something interesting could happen. But maybe I'm just a bit optimistic. Let me go to the mod menu really quick. How do I do that? It's not F5. There was some button before, but I don't... Oh, here we go. F10. Let's just make sure CGs are on. Yep. Limp sync on, yep. Audio. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, the cotton swayed as it drifted downstream. The Watanagashi ceremony must still be going on upstream. As I stared blindly at the river pondering those thoughts, I failed to notice that Rina and the others had already moved on without me. I wasn't too worried about it, though. I've already grown familiar enough with this village to feel like one of the locals. So, I decided to just relax here until someone comes back looking for me. When I turned my head, I just happened to notice a person standing off near the riverbed. Looking a little closer, it looked like a girl, with her long hair swaying about. I couldn't make out her face from behind, so I started walking closer. Maybe she heard the clatter of the gravel under my feet. She quickly turned back this way. Mion? Oh, good evening, Ki-chan. No, it was her twin sister, Shion. Shion came to Hinamizawa to hang out with us a couple times since the time I met her at Angel Mart, but I still have trouble telling the two of them apart from a distance. Oh, so you came for the festival too, Shion? Why wouldn't I? After all, I'm a member of this village too. Shion laughed mischievously after saying that. In hindsight, it was an odd thing to ask. I suppose so. The village festival only happens once a year, after all. Indeed. Shion's voice dropped slightly as she answered, and she turned toward the river. I felt a hint of discomfort. Did I say something weird? No, that's not it. But what? No, it's nothing. Even if Shion said it was nothing, her expression told me otherwise. In fact, her demeanor made it pretty clear that there was something after all. What's wrong? Shion continued pensively, gazing downward. Her lips were moving faintly, but I couldn't understand a single word of it. Ki-chan. Then, Shion raised her head and stared straight at me while asking a peculiar question.
1年に一度決まった日に何かが起こるとしたら
If something were to happen on the same day every year,
ケイちゃんどう思いますか
what would you think of that, Key-chan?
どういう意味だ？
What are you talking about?
例えば事故とか事件とか
Like, maybe an accident? Or an incident?
なんか穏やかじゃないな。
That doesn't sound very pleasant.
ひょっとしてこの祭りに来ると何かがあるってことか？
What? Does something happen to you if you go to the festival?
いえみんながみんなというわけじゃないんです
No, it doesn't happen to everyone. Huh? It's a really roundabout way of speaking. If this was supposed to be a joke, that would have been the time to shoot it down. And not everyone? So did that mean it happens to someone in particular? Shan and I had stopped talking for a while. Silence filled the space between us. When I started to feel suffocating, I decided to open my mouth. But just then...
ケイちゃんタタリって信じる人ですか
Ki-chan, do you believe in curses? Curses? This music. Yeah, so curses. My impulse reaction to Shion's abrupt question was to turn straight toward her and stare blankly.
びっくりしましたごめんなさい突然変なことを聞いて
Did I scare you? Sorry for suddenly asking something so weird. Shion followed up with a few gentle words, but I struggled to muster a response. Her serious expression seemed eerily out of place. I couldn't help but feel uneasy.
綿流しのお祭りってお社様のたたりを鎮めるための奉納が起源なんですよ
The Watanagashi festival originally began as a ritualistic offering to quell the anger of Oyashiro-sama.
その神様のたたりを鎮めるために年に一度こうして川に綿を流しているんですね
We drift cotton down the river once a year to calm Oyashiro-sama and ward off a curse. Mion and the others told me that much. But even so, what does it mean by a curse? Are they saying Oyashiro-sama isn't a compassionate god, but a malevolent one?
まさかシオンはタタリを信じてるのか？
Shion, no way. Do you actually believe in the curse?
いえ私は
No, but
微妙ですね
it's complicated.
でもこの村じゃ若い人でも結構いますよ
There are a lot of people in this village who do, even among the youth.
信じてる人
True believers.
そうなんだ。
I see. Given her personality, I would have expected a more complete denial, but instead I was a skeptical one here. I couldn't believe that young people in a world of modern science would believe in such a thing.
そして祭りの後毎年起こるんです
And it happens after the festival every year.
決まってちょうど今頃に
Always right around now.
起こるって何が？
What is going to happen?
綿流しの日この村の誰かが
On the day of Watanagashi, someone in the village... Shion paused for a moment and looked around her, then spoke on a low voice.
死ぬんです
Will die. Honestly, I thought I was finally starting to get used to life in Hinamizawa. But there were too many things I still didn't know. Like, how people pretend to know nothing when you ask them about these terrible incidents that happened in the past. I knew Rina and Mion were hiding things from me. Still, they were just trying to avoid giving me a negative outlook on the village right after I moved here. Indeed, after giving it proper thought, that was the conclusion I reached. But even if it was all in the past, as a person living in Hinamizawa, I wanted to be aware of its dark history. I appreciated that my friends were concerned about me, but nevertheless, part of me was bizarrely fascinated by it. So, I wanted to hear it. I signaled for Shion to continue.
3年前の綿流しの日それが最初でした
It began 3 years ago on the day of Watanagashi.
あるご夫婦が旅行先で崖下の濁流に転落したんです
A couple on vacation fell from a cliff, down in the muddy stream below.
旦那さんは亡くなって奥さんは今もまだ死体すら見つかっていません
The husband passed away, and his wife's body was never found.
転落って事故か？
They fell? Was it an accident?
警察の発表はそうなってますね
That's the official story, according to the police. The way she spoke made it clear that she had some doubts about the official story.
その翌年の綿流しの晩には今度は神社の神主さんが原因不明で急死しました。
The following year, on the night of Wadnagashi, shrine priest suddenly died of an unknown illness.
そして神主さんの奥さんはその晩のうちに沼に受水して自殺。
And the priest's wife threw herself in the swamp that evening, committing suicide.
その死体も未だに。
And her corpse, too, still hasn't.
神社の神主って
That
この神社のか？
that shrine priest, was he from this shrine specifically? Shion silently nodded.
またその翌年、これももちろん綿流しの晩。
In the year after that, once again, on the night of Watanagashi,
今度はこの村の主婦が撲殺体で発見されました。
a housewife from this village was found beaten to death. A shiver ran through me the moment I heard beaten to death. But more than that, something felt strange. When it came to the accident and the sudden illness, I felt like there was too strong a possibility that those were simply coincidental, so it seemed unrealistic to attribute them to a curse.
でも死んだ人たちは誰もがあることに深く関係していたんです。
However, the victims were all people who were deeply involved. Deeply involved. Huh.
この村の大事件にです。
In this village's major conflict. Hearing that reminded me of what Tomotake-san told me earlier.
ひなみ沢のダム工事。
The Hinamazawa Dam Project?
どうして知ってるんですか？
How do you know about that? Shion's unusually strong reaction left me confused. Was it really so odd for me to know about it?
それは驚きますよ。
I'm really surprised.
だってみんなこの話は知らない人にはひた隠しにしていますから。
Because everyone tries to keep the story secret from anyone who doesn't know.
まさかケイちゃんが知ってるなんて思わなかったんです。
I can't believe you know about it, Ki-chan. I see. I thought that might be the case.
そうですか。知ってたんですか。
I see. Then, do you also know...
この人たちはみんなダムの誘致に賛成かあるいは反対運動に消極的だった人たちなんです。
that all of the people I mentioned earlier were either supporters of the dam movement or reluctant to actively stand against it? So, in other words, the guardian god of Hinamazawa was retaliating against the dam construction project that could have submerged Hinamazawa. At least, that's what the people of Hinamazawa seem to believe. All the victims on the night of Wadnagashi were people connected to the dam project and to Oyashiro-sama. However, the beating death seemed different from the other incidents, because it was clearly a murder. Thinking about it that way, I started to worry that maybe the housewife beaten to death had a similar connection.
殺された主婦ってどんなやつだったんだ？
What kind of person was the housewife who was beaten to death?
その人もダム工事の反対運動に関係があるのか？
Was she somehow related to the dam project too?
その主婦の旦那さんは旅先で転落死した夫婦の弟さんなんです。
Her husband was the brother of the couple who fell from the cliffs while on vacation. Instead of allaying my fears, the tight connection only amplified them. The curse took her life, simply because a relative of hers was a dam supporter. The curse born from the dam project, and the depths the village was willing to go in order to keep it under wraps. The more I thought about it, the more anxious I started to feel about these incidents. Like the incident at the dam construction site. Yes, the brutal on-site murder of the manager.
当時は工事の継続をめぐって論議が紛糾していました。
Discussions got heated around the time construction was getting started.
そして次第に不祥事が明るみに出て揺れに揺れて
Then scandal started coming to light, shaking things up.
あのバラバラ殺人はダム計画に終止符を打った事件だったんです。
And then, the dismemberment murder brought the dam construction project to a complete halt. As soon as the word murder came out of Shion's mouth, I could hear it hauntingly echoing.
昭和54年の綿流しの日の深夜です。
It happened late at night on the day of Watanagashi, 1979.
6人の男たちが口論の末に被害者に襲いかかったんです。
6 men attacked the victim after an argument broke out.
初めは殺すつもりはなかったそうです。
It seems at first they didn't intend to kill.
だけど被害者がシャベルを振り回し始めると自分たちの武器になるものを手にして一気に殺し合いにエスカレートしたんだそうです。
But once the victim started swinging a shovel at them, they drew weapons of their own, and the situation quickly escalated to murder. Ooh, oh, oh. Whoopsh, whoopsh. The angry men's roars intertwined with sparks flying as their shovels and pickaxes collided, and the victim was the manager of the damn construction site.
容疑者たちが言うには、その現場監督は日頃からその6人の容疑者たちをいじめていたそうです。
The suspects alleged that the construction manager was mistreating the 6 of them on a daily basis.
それがその夜、酒盛りが深すぎて、みんなだんだんと気が荒くなって口論となって。
A drinking party went on too long that night, and the gradually escalating temper led to an argument.
初めは仕返しのつもりだったらしいのですが、しまいにみんなで寄ってたかって。
It started as an act of retaliation, but in the end, everyone joined in together. Oh, God. The men's enraged shouts echoed inside my head. The shovels and pickaxes collided, and sparks scattered. In the middle of the dark night, I could see the entire situation playing out inside my head.
気がついたら、そこには誰の目にも生きているとは思えない無残な姿が横たわっていたそうです。
When they finally came to their senses, they noticed the lack of life in his eyes. All that remained was his gruesome corpse lying there. A dull, dark liquid was spread across the ground. A sickening aroma lingered, and then they all looked at their shovels and pickaxes and found them covered, not in dirt, but something else. Still, it wasn't enough, so suspects took the construction manager and
バラバラにしてしまった。
they dismembered him. I like how abruptly the music ended right there, right at that part. Why? Why would they do something so horrible?
もちろん男たちも最初は警察へ出頭しようと考えたと聞きました。
Of course, the men considered going to the police right away.
だけどリーダー格の男だけが死体を隠そうと提案したようですね。
However, the leader of the group suggested they hide the corpse.
そして迷った残りの5人も
So, he and the other 5 men, their thoughts quickly honed in on the desire to avoid getting caught. Indeed, they weren't in this alone. Each of them had 5 other accomplices with them. If they all worked together to hide it, they could keep it hidden. They had all arrived at the conclusion. Plus,
死体を隠す方法がいくらでもある建設現場です。
the construction site afforded them many ways to conceal the corpse.
彼らはさっさと死体を隠し、その場を離れるはずでした。
They wanted to hide the corpse quickly and get out of there right away. I could picture 5 men desperately working, and their desire to get out of there as soon as possible. However,
リーダー格の男は他の5人がビビって自首して事件が発覚することを恐れたようです。
the leader feared that the other 5 men might turn themselves in, and the incident would come to light.
そこで取ったのが他の5人の口封じでした。
So, right then and there, he needed to ensure the other 5 would keep their mouths shut.
一体どうやって。
How on earth could he accomplish that? Shion suddenly went quiet. It seemed like she was hesitating while deciding if she should say.
どうしたシオン。
What happened, Shion? I urged Shion to tell me. She hesitated for a moment while choosing her words, then began to speak.
死体を人数分に切断してそれぞれの責任で隠すという。
The corpse was sliced apart so each person could bear the responsibility of hiding their respective piece. Huh? I see. The truth behind the dismemberment murder, it was divided evenly among the people involved. They each bore a piece to remind them of the sin they committed. I couldn't help but see their logic as a demonic way of thinking.
男たちは泣きながらおののきながら誰も逆らえませんでした。
Though the men were crying and trembling, none of them were able to resist.
素直に従わない人もいましたが、逆にリーダー格の男に殺されることを恐れたんでしょうね。
Some of them weren't simply following out of obedience. Rather, they were afraid that their leader might try to kill them.
結局全員が手を下したと聞きました。
In the end, they all agreed to do it. I stood there for a while, unable to close my mouth. The damned construction conflict was a fight for the survival of Hinamazawa. and a horrific murder happened during the course of that conflict. That much I already knew, and I was just expecting to hear that again. But, in fact, it was far more than just that. A murder, an accident, a deadly illness, a suicide, a beating to death, killing. I grew up in the modern era. I'd rather not believe in something like a curse. Still, these mysterious deaths keep happening every year on the day of Watanagashi. And on top of that, the victims are always directly related to the dam project. When you look at each incident individually, it's easy to see them as completely coincidental. But when they all keep adding up, it seems a lot harder to calmly brush them off as coincidences. I don't believe in curses. However, it certainly seems like someone or something is deciding that something should happen on every Watanagashi.
ちょっと待て。それじゃあ今年の綿流しの晩にも誰か人が死ぬってことか。
Hold on. Does that mean someone is going to die tonight as well?
今度は誰なんだ。
Who could it be this time?
わかるわけないじゃないですか、そんなこと。
I have no idea. Well, of course, if she knew anything about it, she'd be trying to prevent it. An unsettling wind blew across my moist, sweaty body.
みんな口にしないけど、
Nobody is talking about it, but
今夜また何か起こるんじゃないかって恐れているんだと思います。
everyone is worried something is going to happen again tonight.
それじゃあみんながお祭りに参加してるのは。
Then, the reason everyone is participating in the festival is because they're all afraid of being cursed?
やっぱりみんな怖いんです。
Right. They're all terrified
お社様のたたり。
of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I was left speechless. We're living in the Showa era. We've made incredible progress in every field of research, shining a light on the darkness of our ignorance. Black and white TVs are pretty much extinct. We managed to build a rocket that can send human beings to the moon. Nevertheless, even though we live in such a modern society, little by little, I was finally starting to understand why Rina and Mion were so hesitant to talk about it. If Watanagashi ends this year without an incident, then I suppose there's no point in telling me anything. If nothing happens, then everything is fine. In that case, it's all needless panic. I just need to pretend that I never knew anything. The girls can act like nothing ever happened. And then, we can get back to our normal everyday lives. Right. If I don't know anything, then...
やっぱり言わない方が良かったですか？
Oh, so based on the thing that was said at the opening of this, and we're already being told that this is an alternate take on the first chapter, I'm getting the sense that this is like like a what if scenario, and it's gonna be like, what if Kechi doesn't freak out and become suspicious and paranoid, and he doesn't do what he did basically all through chapter 1. I assume that's what we're getting, and how at some point I would assume it's going to be a lot different or drastically different or split. Something along those lines would be my guess then, based on what we've been shown so far. Anyway, she says, I shouldn't have told you, should I?
いや、そんなことは。
No, that's not... Even though I tried my hardest to speak normally, I couldn't completely disguise the anxiety building up inside me. Then, Shion continued, with no regard for whether I understood or not.
でもね、ケイちゃん、
But, Ki-chan,
綿流しの後には死者ばかりじゃないんです。
you shouldn't just be concerned about the person who dies after Watanagashi is over.
もう気づいているかもしれないですけど、
Maybe you've already realized.
一緒に誰かがいなくなるんです。
Another person needs to disappear along with them. In the murder of the construction manager 4 years ago was the leader of the group. In the accident while on vacation, the wife was swept away by the river. The shrine priest's wife leapt into the water after his death. One person dies, and another disappears.
さっきある主婦が撲殺された話をしましたけど、
I mentioned the housewife's beating death a little while ago.
その事件の後にその家の子も
After that incident, a child from that family also
行方不明に。
went missing?
本当に突然に。
Right. It was so sudden. Shion's voice dipped even lower. I should have been able to hear the sound of the babbling stream, but that sound didn't reach my ears at all. On top of that, the voice of the Higurashi kept echoing in my ears like they weren't aware of the time. It was incredibly irritating.
事件は去年の6月20日の夜の9時頃、
The incident happened around 9 p.m. on June 20th last year.
主婦が路上に仰向けになった形で血まみれで倒れていて、
A housewife was found lying on her back in a pool of blood.
最初は中年の女性としかわからなかったそうです。
At first, it seems they could only tell she was some unidentified middle-aged woman. That can't be. This isn't some big city like Tokyo. If you asked anyone in the neighborhood, they'd immediately know who you were talking about, right? Seemed like a natural question. However, Shion's response was both scathing and horrifying.
ええ、そうですね。
Indeed, you'd think so.
でも顔が完全に潰されていましたから。
However, her face was completely crushed beyond recognition. For a moment, my thoughts ceased. If her face was completely destroyed, they wouldn't be able to recognize who she was. It took me a moment to realize that. But I felt a strange irritation, like a hair scraping against the inside of my ear. I had to rewind the tape just to hear those words again. Her face was crushed beyond recognition. Goosebumps erupted across my entire body, and sweat was pouring out of every available opening.
警察はその事件を恨みによる犯行だと考えたそうです。
The police suspected the crime was an act of revenge.
というのも犯人は後ろ頭をめちゃくちゃに叩き潰しておいて、その上さらに死体をわざわざ仰向けにして顔を潰していたんです。
Because the culprit initially smashed up the back of her head, then intentionally rolled the corpse over in order to smash her face in. The incident happened in the early summer. All that swinging must have fanned the scent of blood all around the vicinity. I suddenly felt sick as I imagined the sight and smell.
そしてその事件の後にその家の子が行方不明になったんです。
And, after the incident, a child from that family went missing. A child of the housewife whose face was crushed disappeared without a trace. How does that fit in? There should be some logic or reason behind it. So is anything there?
その少年は行方不明になる前にこう言っていたそうです。
Before the boy went missing, he said this.
誰かに見張られている。後をつけられているんだって。
Someone is watching me, following me from behind. Anyone dealing with that mental state would be frightened by mere shadows. If that's what the kid said, I don't think there's much room to argue that. However, the story is completely different if the kid was feeling that way before the incident even happened. Then, the kid might have been convinced that disaster was about to come down on him and his family.
誰かが言うんです。
Someone told me.
それはお社様のたたりの前兆だったんだって。
That's a warning sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse.
きっとあの子は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨てて逃げ出そうという気持ちがあったんだ。それをお社様は許さなかったんだって。
That kid must have had the desire to abandon Hinamizawa locked away somewhere in his heart. Oyashiro-sama wouldn't allow it. A god who won't let the villagers abandon the village? Could that really exist? I couldn't believe in a god that would force that kind of devotion on people.
だからきっと今夜もまた誰かが犠牲に。
So, I'm certain someone is going to be sacrificed tonight as well. Kei-chan! Shion's words were interrupted by a voice calling out to me. When I looked back, I saw Mion waving her arms while running in my direction.
いやー、ごめんごめん、一人にさせちゃって。
Ah, sorry for leaving you all alone.
あれ、シオン？
Huh? Shion?
こんばんは、お姉。
Good evening, sis.
何か用ですか？
Did you need something?
用って、用がないと来ちゃいけないの？
Oh, she's got the eyes already. Need something? Are you saying I can't come here if I don't need something? That was an interesting sound. For a split second, Mion's voice had the hot breath of a beast behind it, and a bloody aroma that drifted all around me. The hot breath filled the area, and made all the hairs on my body stand on end. Was I the only one who felt it? I took a sideways glance at Shion's face. There was no mistaking the narrow look in Shion's eyes. It seemed obvious that she felt something from Mion's words, but Shion took it in stride and shrugged her shoulders, then answered in a light tone.
ただ何か用があるのかなって
But it does seem like you need something.
聞いてみただけです
That's why I'm asking. She was deliberately prodding at her sister's heart.
あっそ
Oh! The next moment, Mion let out a pleasantly boisterous laugh. All the tension that was building up released at once, and a feeling of relief instantly came over me. Even though my heart couldn't fully comprehend the situation, I let out a sigh of relief, or something like that. And yet...
私はてっきりなんかいけない話でもしてるところに来ちゃったかなって思ってね
And here I was convinced I'd caught you, before you did something you'd regret.
いけない話って何ですか
Something I'd regret? Like what?
さあ私が聞いてるんだけど
Hey, I'm the one asking questions here. The restless atmosphere came flowing back. Then, Shion lightly smiled.
そうですね
Ah, yes, quite true.
何ですかいけない話って
Then what's this something I'd regret? I faintly tilted my head to the side. Mion's expression grew more tense as she attempted to dodge the question. But a moment later, Mion returned to her usual carefree expression. And then...
だからさシオン
So, Shion,
今日のバイトは休みなの
don't you have work today?
今何時ですか
What time is it?
もうこんな時間だよ
It's already about that time? Mion pointed to her watch.
いけ
Oh, that's no good.
ない思ったより遅くなっちゃいましたね
It's later than I thought.
だからいけない理由でもあるのかって聞いたんだって
See? That's what I was telling you. Caught you before you'd regret being late. Huh? That's what she meant?
ありがとうね教えてくれて
Thanks for letting me know, sis.
ケイちゃんごめんなさい
I'm sorry, Ki-chan.
私そろそろバイトに行きますね
It's about time for me to head to work. After saying that, Shion walked off at a brisk pace. Mion let out a sigh while watching her from behind. And just as I made a wry smile and was about to comment on how troublesome Shion was...
シオンのやつなんだって
That's Shion. What was she up to? She asked that so suddenly, my voice got caught in the back of my throat.
あの子ケイちゃんに何か言ったの
What was she telling you, Ki-chan?
いや別に
Nothing, really.
なんで隠すの
Why are you trying to hide it?
え
Huh?
隠したってすぐにわかるんだからね
I could tell right away that you're hiding it.
おじさんを煙に巻こうったってそうはいかないよ
You'll have to do better than that to deceive this old man. I sensed a bright light glimmering in the back of Mion's piercing gaze. I couldn't find the words to respond. I hesitated for a while, deciding if I ought to repeat what Shion told me. It was a story that Mion and the others were trying to keep hidden. Turned my gaze downward as I wrestled to find the right words. I could see tons of cotton floating down the river by my feet. But why? Maybe it was due to the chilling story I just heard, but... The piles of cotton started to resemble slabs of meat sliding down a conveyor belt. Suddenly, felt like I had to throw up.
ケイちゃん
Ki-chan! I was bent over, holding a hand in my mouth.
大丈夫
Are you alright? Mion put a hand on my shoulder. Her hand was filled with soft, gentle warmth. I started to calm down.
ごめんね
Sorry,
ちょっときつい言い方になっちゃったね
I may have come on a little strong there.
でも気にしちゃダメだからね
But, don't let it worry you.
あの子って悪趣味なこと言って人のことをからかう癖があるからさ
That girl tends to say things in bad taste, and she has a habit of making fun of people.
大丈夫だって
I'm okay.
変なことなんか聞いてない
She didn't say anything weird.
本当
Really?
本当だ
Really?
本当に本当
Really, really?
本当だって
Yes, really. Mion carefully looked me over.
変だぞミオ
You're acting weird, Mion.
お前こそ矢に勘ぐってないか？
You're being awfully suspicious, aren't you?
いや、おじさん
Huh? No, this old man was...
はなんていうか、こんな暗いところで二人っきり何してたのかなってさ。
I was just wondering what the two of you were doing alone in such a dark place. That's all.
なんだよそりゃ。
What are you talking about?
意味がわからん。
I have no idea what you're getting at.
いやいや、真っ赤に燃える太陽の季節ってか？
Tut tut, this is the season when the sun is burning hottest, isn't it?
さらに意味不明な上に、今は夜だし。
It's the middle of the night, so now I have even less an idea of what you're talking about.
なんて、
Just kidding.
おじさん気の回しすぎかな。
Maybe this old man is getting too skeptical for his own good. Ha 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 ha. The conversation had steered in an awkward direction, but I still felt terrible for being unable to talk to Mion about what Shion was telling me, and as a result, couldn't even bring myself to ask if Shion's story was true or not. I could still see a hint of doubt on Mion's face, so I just vaguely laughed along with her. Keiichi-kun! I'm sorry! I looked back in the direction of that voice and saw Rina bouncing up and down while running towards me. Satsuko and Rika-chan were panting heavily while running behind her.
ごめんなさいま
I'm really sorry.
せ。圭一さんのことすっかり忘れておりましたわ。
We totally forgot about you, Keiichi-san.
何？
What?
俺のことを忘れるとは不届き千万。
I'm outraged that you could forget about me.
嘘なのです。
That's not true.
ちゃんと探していたのです。
We really were looking for you.
ただ、お話に夢中になってしまっていただけなのです。
But we got a little absorbed in our conversation. Then why say that you forgot about me?
話だけじゃございませんわ。
It wasn't just our conversation.
夜店で売ってるお菓子も悪かったのですわよ。
The sweets you picked up at the stall were distracting too.
私たちに落ち度はございませんわ。
So it wasn't our fault.
うんうん。
Yeah, yeah.
あんず飴とっても美味しかったよね。よね。
Those apricot candies you picked up were delicious, weren't they? Weren't they? You guys really forgot about me. I'm so offended. The three of them looked at each other and grinned. I meekly leaned back and looked up toward the sky. You guys, you're all so... Ha 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 ha.
Oi, minna!
Hey, everyone! Then, Tomitake-san came over to us.
あら、富武さんじゃございませんこと。
Oh, if it isn't Tomitake-san.
富武、ちょうどよかったのです。
You're just in time, Tomitake.
今日の射的の結果発表だよ。
We should announce the results of today's shooting game.
そうだったね。
Oh, yeah, that's right.
結局ビリは僕なのかな？
I guess came in last place after all. Today's game ended with my dramatic victory, but was followed by a fierce battle to avoid last place. Rika-chan was the last one to take the challenge, but by then there were hardly any targets left, and the few targets that did remain were as small as a box of matches. Rika-chan tried aiming at her target, but the counter was too tall. It's impossible to maintain a stable posture while standing on your tiptoes. Not even I could pull that off. On top of that, the gun was so heavy that her arms couldn't help but shake. Everything added up to an impossible task. Nonetheless, it's a cutthroat competitive world. Even if you're at a disadvantage, you need to rise above it using your own strength in order to succeed. Strike back at your enemies. That's the law governing our club activities, our core value. With that in mind, I had no choice but to encourage Rika-chan. In other words, with three of us already out of the picture, her best option was to tie it up with Tomitake-san. That's what I thought, anyway. However, battle-hardened Rika-chan had the most powerful weapon of all hidden behind her back. And that weapon was... She suddenly started crying. Meep, meep, in front of the stall, like a bird. Meep, meep, in front of the stall, forcing the shopkeeper into a dilemma. Naturally, the guests walking by assumed the shopkeeper was the one who made her cry. So, they all began coldly glaring at him. It couldn't be helped. Couldn't resist the young lady, so He handed her a pack of gum. In the end, there was nothing Tomitaka-san could do to beat that. Maybe he should have started crying. Rika-chan was like a sly fox or a cunning tanuki. A tanuki.
圭一、ひどいことを考えているのです。
Keiichi, you're thinking terrible thoughts, aren't you?
僕は立派な人間なのですよ。コンコン。
I'm a wonderful human being. Mew, mew. Ultimately, decided her feigned crying felt more fox-like.
というわけで
And with that, it's decided.
富武さんがビリに決定。
Last place goes to Tomitake-san. An uproar of applause rang out.
そりゃ
That's right.
どうもありがとう。
Thank you very much. Tomitaka-san seemed a bit confused and shyly scratched the back of his neck. How sad. He was completely blindsided by the horrors of this group.
え、どういう意味だい？
So what does that mean?
いやいや、ケイちゃんは運がいいな富武さんって言ってるんだよ。
Unfortunately, it's about time for Ki-chan to say, Lucky you, Tomitake-san.
そうなのですよ。
That's right.
とてもラッキーなのです。
He's very lucky. Oh, ho, 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 ho,
幸
ho.
運の持ち主でございますわ。
Most fortunate indeed.
羨ましい限りでございます。
I'm envious. If you're so envious, you're welcome to trade places.
いいのいいの。
That's good, that's good.
運が良くて羨ましいな。はう。
I'm jealous too. How? They're all demons.
じゃあ富武さん、覚悟はいいかな？
Alright, Tomitake-san, are you ready?
罰ゲーム。
For your penalty!
え？ああ、そうか。忘れてた。
Huh? Oh, right. I forgot. Well, we haven't forgotten our part. Mion pulled a felt tip marker out of her pocket. Ah, she had a mischievous look on her face. Permanent marker is too harsh. Couldn't she show him some mercy and use a washable one?
ダメだよ、油性じゃなきゃ。
Ah ha ha! It has to be permanent.
洗ったら落ちちゃうでしょ。
Water-based marker would come off in the laundry.
なんだいなんだい。それで書くの？
Whoa, whoa, what is this? You're gonna write with that? All of us pinned his arms behind his back and Mion approached him with the marker in hand. The tension in the air was frightening.
それそれ。
That's it.
はい。キュッキュッキュッだね。
Okay, scribble, scribble, and done. But she didn't write on Tomitake-san's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You'd better have your big break this year, Mion. Then, Rika-chan was next to take a turn with the marker. Even if you came in last place, you're number one in my heart, Rika. Adorable. It made me smile bitterly.
これじゃあ罰ゲームじゃなくて寄せ書きだね。
This isn't a penalty at all. It's more like a farewell card. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
私は甘くはありませんのよ。
I'm not as soft as the rest.
ちゃんと罰ゲームでいきますわ。
I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Hope you come in last place again next time. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Satoko.
次はケイ
She
チさん
even
の番
writes
で
it
ござ
like
いま
that.
すわよ。
Crazy. You're up next, right, Kechi-san? Couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Kechi. And finally, I handed the marker to Rina. Rina hummed to herself as she considered what to write, but then she wrote something in a flash. Show me your photos next time, okay? Rina. Tomitake-san's eyes were open wide when we started, but by the end he was smiling gleefully.
これ着たままで東京に帰らなきゃいけないのかな。
Are you gonna make me wear this all the way back to Tokyo?
もちろん
Of course.
罰ゲームだもん。
It's a penalty after all.
ちゃんと着たまま帰ってね。
You better wear it all the way home.
次に来る時にも着てきてくれるといいな。いいな。
You can wear it next time you come back. It'd be nice. He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn bright red.
わかった。
Understood.
次に来る時もこれを着てくれよ。
I'll wear this the next time I come here.
約束する。
I promise. Yeah, that's right. Not like anything bad's gonna happen to him or anything, right, guys? I hope we get to see his photos next time, like Rina asked.
そ
Right.
富武さん、みんなの写真撮ってよ。
Tomatake-san, I'd like you to take a picture of everyone.
そうだな。記念写真を撮ろう。
Of course. Let's commemorate the occasion with a photo. As Tomatake-san said that, he laid down a tripod and configured the self-timer.
いいかい？
Ready?
撮るよ。
I'm taking it now.
はい、チーズ。
Okay, say cheese. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest party gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomatake-san standing near the festival grounds. It seemed Tomatake-san noticed her too. I knew it was time to leave.
おやおや、お連れ様がお待ちですか？
Seems like your guest is waiting.
そろそろお時間かな。ん？
Isn't it about time? Hmm?
え？そうみたいだね。
Huh? That's certainly how it seems. Tomatake-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomatake-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight.
行っちゃったね。
He's gone.
じゃあ、おじさんは後片付けがあるからここで。
Well, this old man needs to stay here and help with cleanup. Mian was apparently involved with post-festival cleanup, and Rika-chan needed to attend some meeting with the executive committee members. Satoko was tagging along with her, so Rina and I decided to break off here and head home together.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。
Later, Ki-chan.
また明日。
See you tomorrow. Then, Mian waved her hand.
あ、ミオン。
Oh, Mian.
Huh?
Mian suddenly stopped when I called out to her. I wanted to ask about the incident and why she wouldn't tell me about it. But then I remembered that the victims in the incidents were the people opposed to the dam project. In other words, they were enemies of the Sonozaki family. So, in the end, I couldn't bring myself to ask about it.
また明日な。
See you tomorrow. That was all I could say.
また明日。
Yep, see you tomorrow. I had a vaguely confused look on my face as I saw Mian off. As I did that, Rina looked back at me with a blank expression. Oh, we're back to tips. God, it feels like it's been forever since we've gotten tips. It feels like forever. From an evening paper on June XX 1980. Around 2 p.m. on XX Day, an office worker from Hinamazawa village in the Shibone City region, San and his wife, San, both went missing after falling into a mountain stream 27 meters below an observation deck in Shirakawa National Park. Police and firefighters searching downstream located the body of San around 7 p.m. the same night. The wife, San, has still not been located. Mountain Stream is especially active due to a Category 3 typhoon the other day, making the search more difficult. The husband and wife were leaning against the fence at the observation deck, and both fell when the fence broke. The fence is old and in poor condition, so police are questioning concerned parties to determine if the park facility personnel were taking adequate precautions. Oh, that was quick. Housewife murder incident. This story was never published in the newspapers. Good to... Okay. Okay. Good to know. Just quick and dirty one there. Okay. Let's call it there. I mean, that's almost just about an hour. I think the record is just a few seconds under an hour at this point. Like I said, I'll make up for it first on Saturday. I'll make sure to read quite a bit of Higurashi on Saturday and figure out what the hell this console arc is. And you know, right before booting up these things, I was like, oh man, light at the end of the tunnel. But I think we still have several streams of this, so. But maybe there's a chance. I'll try to see if I can look a bit more into it. But maybe there's a chance all of these are all quite short. You know, maybe these aren't super long. I would imagine these aren't as long as like the actual chapters. But maybe that's just wishful thinking on my end. We'll find out eventually. We'll find out. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow the plan is hopefully not start super late. Hopefully normal stream time around. I want to play Lorelei and Laser Eyes back tomorrow night. Thursday, no stream. Friday, new level of Astrobot. And then something else on Friday. Something after Astrobot level. I just haven't determined that far out. Saturday, Higurashi probably exclusively. Most likely. So we'll go from there. Lorelei tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Have a nice rest of your night. Stay safe, stay well. Higurashi forever.